Now that we're past the release of 7.2, I hope you've had a fantastic patch cycle and have been enjoying crafting and gathering all of the new items. I hope that my videos were helpful in terms of prepping to get you to where you wanted to be for this patch cycle. Now, because we are officially past the release of Savage and things are starting to calm down a little bit, I wanted to go ahead and get into the cosmic exploration prepping, especially with the release of 7.21 scheduled for April 22nd, which is when we're going to see this content released. So let's go ahead and talk about everything that we know so far and what sort of prep I would recommend doing ahead of time if you're looking to hit the moon running. My name is Tenelin, and let's get into it. First off, what is cosmic exploration? Just so we know, I'm going to refer to cosmic exploration as CE from here on out because it is a little bit of a tongue twister to keep repeating it over and over. What we know so far, though, is it's a server-wide cooperative event where we will be working together to build up a base on a planet, and over a few stages, we'll see that base grow and expand as a server. Don't worry though, they've said that even if you aren't there to participate at the start of the event, you will have personal progression points that will show you the evolution of the base as well, so no matter when you join the cycle of the patch, you'll be able to experience everything still and see that base grow and evolve. We're going to be starting with the first patch of CE on the moon, with plans to add additional planets in every major patch of Dawntrail, meaning we'll have 3 more planets before the end of this expansion cycle. They showed off some of the concept art a while ago at the Chinese Fan Fest, and the planets that they have designed looked incredible. The first one is actually confirmed to be the moon, which is the one we are getting in this patch in April. The other one, though, they haven't said anything about, but it has really cool design, and I really do hope this is one of the planets we're going to explore. I am very excited to see the lore implications of us traveling to these additional planets and what that will be, so let me know in the comments what your theory on this is. The requirements for CE are much lower than I expected originally, and you'll only need to have your Disciple of Land or a Disciple of Hand at level 10, as well as completed Endwalker in order to participate. We've also seen, based on some images from the live letter, that the missions we're going to be doing will give you experience. So I'm assuming this will be a new way to be able to level your jobs up while progressing with the story and all of the event quests. For the missions that they showed off, there are a few different types. First off, you have the solo personalized missions called the Cosmo missions, and these will work similarly to guild leaves. For the gathering ones that they showed off, you're asked to go to a location and gather some materials in a set amount of time, and it's completed once you've done that. For the crafting side though, they didn't show off any examples during the live letter, so we don't have anything to really go on to speculate what exactly we're going to be getting with those, but maybe that they're also just similar to guild leaves, where you're asked to craft a certain material and then turn it in. There is a chance that all of the materials you need for crafting will be unique to the CE zone, or it could be provided to you similarly how custom deliveries or society quests are, but there's also the chance that they'll require items that we currently gather now outside of the cosmic exploration zones. They didn't really show off anything in regards to the crafting, and that may be because it does require items from outside of cosmic exploration, things that we could probably gather now. So they may be doing that as a preventive measure to stop people from trying to speculate on what exactly they need. I'm not going to tell you one way or the other, which is correct, but I will say in the case of them requiring real gatherable items, keep in mind that only Endwalker is required to be completed, so the items you need to gather most likely are not from Dawntrail. Be sure to subscribe for detailed information once this content is out though, as I will be putting out more videos. The next mission type is the Mecha missions, which are the group-based fates. The one they showed off during the live letter is a mining fate where you are ported to an area to mine crystals together as a group. A few lucky individuals were also able to pilot a mech that allowed them to mine way more and quicker. There is a whole lottery ticket system to be able to get into the mech, so everybody should have a chance to be able to try. Now finally, we have the alerts, which were not shown off, but those are the emergency missions that require both crafters and gatherers. They really only showed off this little HUD element at the top. Rewards appear to be tied to 2 different currencies, and we've only seen what you can spend the one on, and that's the Loporrit reward wheel. Spin this wheel using one of the currencies we earn from doing the missions and get various rewards such as glams, mounts, umbrellas, and even new confirmed metallic dyes. There is another currency that they told us about, and they said that that would be used for a reward shop, My speculation is that this may be similar to Skybuilder scripts, and we may see that those can be used for things like unique glams, emotes, dyes, and maybe even crafter and gatherer materia. Again, this is just purely speculation on my part. We'll have to wait and see, as they didn't show us anything solid for that secondary currency. There will also be a high score competitive section of the game mode, but it has some extra rules and does reset, and it makes it more achievable for more individuals without having to grind for the entire duration of the patch. The scoring will rotate through 24-hour off and on cycles, where it will be open for competition for 24 hours and then off for 24 hours. During the 24-hour period that it is open, the person who scores the highest by completing missions and events in that cycle will be rewarded with a unique character effect, and their character will appear as a hologram in the base camp. Both of those rewards will last for 2 weeks, meaning that up to 7 players at a time per server will be displayed as holograms and have these unique character effects. During that 2-week period, if you're the winner, you are unable to win again. This means overall there will be more opportunity for a fair playing field for more players. And you won't have to worry about falling behind over time, as each competition is only its own individual 24-hour window. I really like how they did this competition, as the rewards are temporary and more for bragging rights, but they still allow people to have fun and compete. And finally, we are getting access to the beginning of the Relic Tools for both Disciple of Land and Disciple of Hand as soon as 7.21 launches. They showed off a quick picture of these with a note that you'll be able to progress these tools right from the start, so be sure to grab them before you dive too far into the cosmos. For those who don't know though, Relic Tools are similar to the Relic Weapons in Final Fantasy XIV, where they have a quest line tied to them with certain tasks you must do between each step, and this will allow you to upgrade your tool as you go, shaping it and evolving it to use as we progress through the rest of the expansion. This will give it increased stats, a higher item level, and occasionally even unique traits such as these ones shown here from Endwalker. In the past, you had to go out into the world and gather or craft certain unique items related to these quests and turn them in to help forge the upgrades of the weapons. My assumption is that we will get a new step every patch of Cosmic Exploration from here until the end of Dawntrail, meaning that we'll see a total of 4 updates for these tools, starting from 7.21, then 3.1, 4.1, and the final in 5.1. With the 7.21 update this month, we should see 3 stages of the tool: the original that we start with, an augmented version, and then a final evolved version of it for this patch, meaning we will have 2 stages of upgrades to do during this patch. What is interesting about these tools is that it does note that you don't have to actually have them equipped in order to progress them, and you progress them by doing missions in CE. Now that first point does seem to imply that no matter what your level is, you'll actually be able to pick these tools up and start to evolve them from the start. Now I don't know exactly what that's going to mean, and with the combination of it saying that you need to progress your missions in order to level them up, I'm a little uncertain exactly what we're going to be doing for these tools. There is a chance that just doing the CE missions is what you actually need to do to be able to evolve your weapon. In past expansions, the way that you would level up your gatherer tools, for example, is you would go out and collect a new collectible that was unique for that tool, as well as a hidden node item, and combined with those, you would turn them in to upgrade that tool. And for crafters, you would have to actually purchase an ingredient for crafter scripts and then use an additional item that you would gather out in the world to craft a collectible to turn that in to get a different item. And once you had a certain number of those items from the collectible turn-in, you would turn that and your tool in order to upgrade it. Because this does seem to be a little bit different, it's a lot harder to predict exactly what you're going to want to do to prep things. If you want to be safe, I'm going to kind of give you the rundown of what you should do based on past Relic tools, but there is a chance that none of this will actually apply. You may just actually go in, grab your Relic tool, and go off and do all of these new missions, the Cosmos, the Mecha, the alerts, and all of these other things, and slowly gain some progression on your tool to the point that it maybe maxes out, and then you go and upgrade it with the quest giver. It's really hard to say. But I'm going to kind of talk about what I plan on doing with a little bit of prep, because the previous Relic Tools did require a lot of crafter scripts specifically, especially if you wanted to do more than one of the crafter relics. So I am planning on prepping up a decent amount of those for myself, but other than that, I am just kind of waiting to see how it actually turns out. In Endwalker, the first tool choice that you had was at no cost, but each additional tool costs 1500 Gatherer or Crafter scripts. For Dawntrail, these should be the purple scripts, so if you plan on going for multiple tools, be sure to have some collectibles or scripts stocked up beforehand. I would recommend the level 90 Rarefied Scion Bavaroi for the Culinarian as the easiest crafter script, just because it doesn't have any pre-crafts, and because it is level 90, if you are level 100, you can use Trained Eye to instantly get max collectability, and then just use a couple groundworks to complete it. If you are looking to do a little bit of prep work, and you are planning on doing all of the crafter tools, there is some stuff that you should know about how these work. If they follow a similar pattern to Endwalker's tools, the crafting tools are going to require a large amount of crafter scripts, in this instance, purple crafter scripts. For the gathering tools, you won't have nearly as steep of a cost. The Endwalker tools only required you to go out and gather a certain collectible and a hidden node for them to be able to upgrade those tools. For the first step of the crafter tools though, you were required to buy 20 of a certain ingredient for each job, and those ingredients cost 50 scripts each, meaning each job required 1,000 scripts for the first augment. Then the additional step after that one required another 30 of that ingredient, meaning in total each tool required 2,500 scripts for that patch's content, and an additional 1,500 for the cost of the tool after your first free one. That's 4,000 purple crafter scripts per tool. So if you are planning on doing the crafter relics, you are probably going to need a lot of purple scripts. This is, of course, assuming that the steps are similar to the past expansions. Now, just as a note, any of those items that you purchase for scripts were also tradable, and they did sell for a decent amount of gil. It may be a good idea to stock up extra if you do want to try to make this into a gil making opportunity for yourself. For additional items we may be able to use, each of the script items used one more ingredient to craft a collectible to turn in for the materials that you actually needed to upgrade the tools. For Endwalker, the Splendorous tools required a level 80 or above botanist or miner material, and some of them even did require monster drops that you could purchase with bicolor gemstones. For this, I wouldn't worry too much about pre-gathering any of the materials, as we don't need that many overall, and we don't know exactly which ones we're going to need. I would recommend having your bicolor gemstones stocked up to avoid the grind of having to kill monsters or send out your combat retainers, or even going out to do fate farming once the patch is out. But I will just preface it with nothing I am saying has been solidified as confirmed things that we know about. It could be that they completely change it, especially with this being tied to cosmic exploration. The formula for Relic Tools has had some minor variations over time, so it really just depends on what they end up doing. There's always a chance that the currency needed for buying the additional tools, as well as these ingredients that I'm talking about, could be one of the cosmic exploration currencies, but we won't really know till the patch comes out. If we look back to Shadowbringer's Relic Tools, which were tied to Ishgardian Restoration, a very similar piece of content to CE, it did only require that you spend 80,000 gil for each of the new tools instead of having the 1,500 scripts as the requirement. I imagine that they changed this away from gil because that's a little bit steeper of a price tag for a lot of people, especially if you're trying to do all of the crafters. That adds up to a decent amount of gil, and a lot of people don't like having to use gil for a crafter specific piece of content. All of that is to say, prepare to the level that you would like to. If you want to be able to get your tools very, very quickly, I would plan on having both gil and scripts set aside and ready to go. The best part about the scripts is that you can pre-craft a bunch of the collectibles to turn in the day of the patch, since you can only hold 4,000 scripts max. If you have a retainer with a bunch of extra space, again, I would stock up on those Scion Bavaroi like I talked about, as it's a very easy collectible, and it only requires the level 90 Culinarian. I'm not really sure though. I'm a little bit conflicted on figuring out exactly what you should be doing for cosmic exploration, especially when it comes to prep. There's a chance that there's nothing that you're able to actually prepare ahead of time. I'd love to know your thoughts. What are you going to be doing for prep, and what do you think these tool progression steps are going to be? If you're going to be using CE specifically for leveling, right now my advice is going to be pretty generalized, so we don't know exactly what we're going to need, but here's what I've put together. If you purely only care about leveling and you aren't in a hurry to do anything else, I would have your Disciple of Lands or Disciple of Hand at level 10 and just have some basic vendor gear that you can buy from Gil in any of the 3 starter cities. If you want to get a little ahead of the leveling game and you are a little bit progressed with your levels above that, I would aim to get the best script gear that you can ahead of time in order to boost your stats. Realistically, this is for anybody who is level 58 or above, because I would recommend that you only go for the cross-job armor and accessories so you don't have to farm out a set for each job. Take a look at any of the script vendors in any city and work towards getting yourself the highest item level set that you can. Now this may turn out to be completely unneeded, but if we use Ishgardian Restoration as our basis of comparison, they had multiple tiers of both crafts and gathers depending on your level, so we may see a similar system again where your stats and gear do matter to be able to help you out. Don't forget to use custom deliveries to help you get easy weekly scripts for either crafter or gatherer to be able to gear, as we do have a few weeks until the content drops. Once you hit level 100, I would recommend grabbing the latest script gear that came out in 7.2, as it will have more than enough stats with a combined 7.0 craft accessories to be able to craft anything in the game right now. Check out this video for more details if you are just getting to level 100 recently. But that covers about everything, so let's summarize the main points. CE does release with patch 7.21 on April 22nd, and we will have one planet, the Moon, in which we will work together as a server to build up a base. You'll be able to start progressing your Relic tool very early in that questline, so be sure to pick it up. There should be 2 levels of upgrades from the original tool, meaning 3 stages in total. For what kind of preparations you can do ahead of time, be geared up for your level and have both Gil and scripts at the ready. If you want to be extremely prepared, I would highly recommend stocking up as many crafter collectibles as you can, especially if you plan on making multiple tools, and even more if you want to be able to potentially sell some of the ingredients on the market if they are tradable. Keep in mind though, this could be completely incorrect, and the new ingredients could just as easily be tied to CE reward currency instead of scripts, and all of that could be a waste of time. If you plan on leveling, just be ready to have some fun and enjoy the new events with everybody. Be sure to check back into my channel once the content is out, and I'll let you know if it's a good source of leveling. Be sure you have completed Endwalker and have at least one of your DOHs or DOLs at level 10. Thank you very much for watching though, and I hope to see you on the moon. If you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a like, as it really helps me out, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I'll be putting out more videos related to CE as we get more information. A special thanks to all of these people here for becoming a member of my channel. You can become one as well, starting at $1 a month by clicking the join button below.